This is a radar altitude indicator. So this one is a small form factor. You can see about 10 centimeters long. So this unit was installed in a Chinook helicopter. So this thing was manufactured by Smith. You can see the hidden plate on the rear of this instrument. The supply voltage is 115 volts. So there is this document. Okay, so this was inspected in 2007. Okay, so this is an unserviceable. So we will see. So we have the symptom here. So you have an analog indication from 0 to 5,000 feet. There is an on-off switch here on the right. This is the test button, push to test. And this permits also to set this index here. So this permits probably to activate a relay when this limit is achieved. So let's open this thing to see what is inside. So I think we need to remove the knobs on the front panel, probably. So first I will remove the 4 screws on the front panel here. Okay, I need to remove the knobs. I think I don't have the Allen key for that. This one is very small. I'll try the other one first. And this one is okay. The screws are not the same. This is strange. Okay. This one will be problematic. I didn't see, but there is a bulb inside this knob. So now it should be possible to remove this stuff. Okay. It's a nice construction, relatively modern. So there are several PCBs all around. So we have 4 PCBs, and we have a servo control loop for the needle. So this is effectively only a flag, which is activated by a solenoid, difficult to access. So the solenoid is here. This black cylinder here, this is a solenoid for the flag. The needle is activated by a motor which is in the middle. I don't know if this is a DC motor, probably a DC motor. And there is this potentiometer here for the feedback of the servo control loop. On this board we have 2 medium power transistors here. So these transistors are maybe used to drive the motor, but I'm not sure at all. And we have a lot of adjustments, 4 on this board, 6 on this one. So this seems to be the power supply board. So we have 4 diodes here for rectifying. This is probably a regulator or a transistor, I don't know. The input is here, the output is probably... Yes, it is written IC, so actually these are regulators and not transistors. I have 2 ICs here, so we can remove the boards to see in details. So this is a relay plus an IC here, maybe a comparator. It is not very complex. So let's start to remove this board here. So this board is attached like the other ones actually, the flat cable with a Kapton film. So we have two LM124. This is a quad op amp, a few resistors and these 2 transistors here. This is not complicated. We can see the solenoid for the flag here. It seems that the needle is directly attached to the motor. I'm not sure, that's strange. Without a reduction, or maybe there is a reduction gear inside this stuff here, this mechanical stuff. So let's see another board. Okay, so on this board we have only a relay and the same part, a quad op amp, LM124. Nothing exciting. So on this board we have several accurate resistors. We can see these resistors here, they are metal foil. And these ones are probably 0.1%, but I'm not sure. Okay, we can see that the values are on the top of the resistors. It is not always the case. So let's see the last one. Okay, so this is the power supply board. We have this very nice capacitor here. So I think it can be interesting to do the reverse engineering of this thing. It will not be too complicated. There is 1 or 2 IC per board, and the boards are quite simple. And the fact that there are several boards, I think this will be easy. First, and after we will try if we can activate this thing and make working this instrument. This is the schematics of the servo control loop board. So the motor is on the right of this page here. And the feedback potentiometer is located here. So there is a mechanical link, of course, between the feedback potentiometer and the DC motor here. So the DC motor is supplied between 2 voltages. These 2 Zener diodes provide a midpoint power supply between the ground and the positive power supply, which is actually 13 volts. And the second terminal of the DC motor is connected to this push-pull output. The error amplifier is made by this op amp here. The gain of the error amplifier is defined by the ratio of this resistor and the sum of these two resistors in series. So the gain is high, about 1000. The input voltage of the servo control is here, this terminal, number 6. The potentiometer is supplied by two voltages, this one and this one. So these voltages are adjustable using these two trimmers. This circuit permits to have a limitation of the input voltage here. The limits are set by these resistors here. So the limits are a little bit below the maximum range of the potentiometer. These limits are mandatory because if the input voltage here is below or above the limits of the potentiometer, then the servo control loop will never find a stable position and there is a risk of mechanical damage. The circuit, which is inside this blue area here, is actually allocated in the other board, the board with the relay control. This circuit permits to activate the relay here when the voltage which is present at the whipper of this potentiometer is above the input voltage here. And the limits are set also with these two trimmers. These trimmers permits to have an activation of the relay when the index of the adjustment here is identical to the position of the needle, which is defined by this potentiometer here. The voltages at each point of the potentiometers, this one and this one, are defined using this reference voltage at pin 8, which is the same as this one. This voltage reference is 10 volts exactly. This voltage reference is provided using a voltage reference which is present on the power supply board. This is the first step of the reverse engineering for the front-end input board. As you can see, the routing is full. For example, there is a resistor in the feedback of this op amp between pin 1 and pin 2. You see that this resistor actually is this one here. If the routing was done by a human person, this resistor will be placed at this area here and not on this corner. This board permits the conversion of the input voltage, which is present at the terminal D on the rear connector. The voltage range is between 0 and minus 40 volts. So this seems to be a standard voltage. So this was also the case in the previous radar altimeter. The range was also 0 to minus 40 volts. So the input voltage is translated into another DC voltage, which is present on the terminal 6 of this board. The scale is not linear. As you can see on the front of this instrument, we have actually three different scales. So the first scale is from 0 to 200 feet here. The second scale is from 200 to 1000 feet. And there is another scale from 1000 to 5000 feet. So you have a better resolution from 0 to 200 feet, and after the resolution decreases. So on the right of this page, you have the equivalent voltage. So you can see that we have three different slopes, depending on the input voltage here. So the voltage on this axis corresponds to this voltage here. So this is an intermediate voltage. The input voltage from 0 to minus 40 volts is converted first into a voltage from 2.5 to 7.5 volts. And this voltage is translated using this nonlinear amplifier to a voltage which appears at pin 6. So this voltage on the y-axis is the output voltage here. And on the x-axis here you have the voltage which is present at this terminal, test point 7 here. So this circuit is quite simple. Each amplifier has actually two different modes. Each amplifier has a constant voltage at the positive input, which is defined by the reference voltage here, plus 10 volts, and the resistive divider here. The thresholds can be adjusted using these resistors. These thresholds permit to define the start of each range. Let's see, for example, the first circuit on the top, because they are actually identical, except the values of the gain and the starting point, which is defined by this voltage. When the diode here, D13, is on, in this case, the op amp works as an inverting amplifier, and the gain is defined by the ratio of these two resistors, with a negative value. Otherwise, when the diode is off, in this case, the op amp works in an open loop mode, and at this point, the amplifier is equivalent to only these three resistors in series from the input here. So there is no effect relative to the other amplifiers. The value of this voltage at this point define actually the value of the threshold between the different slopes here. So the outputs can be connected in parallel, because actually when one amplifier has an output voltage which is above the other ones, in this case the diodes of the other amplifiers will turn off. So this is a clever system. The output of this system is fed to the servo control loop circuit we have just seen before. This is the schematics of the third board. One part of this third board was the activation of the relay. It was activated when the needle is just above the index. So this was described in the first page. The second part of this board is the activation of the flag, which is here. It is a rotary solenoid here, which is activated by this transistor, which is BC107. The flag is activated when the output of this op-amp is at high level first, and when the output of these two op-amps are at high level also. A low level at the output of one of these op-amp will connect this line to the ground through this diode here. This inner diode provides a threshold of about 3.5 volts in order to activate this transistor. A high level of this comparator is provided when the voltage at the positive input is above this one. So first, the terminal 3 here is connected to the rear connector, to one terminal. So it is necessary to apply a voltage at the rear of the connector. The minimum voltage is something like 20 volts. If you don't apply this voltage, this thing will not work. The flag will be deactivated. The indicator will work, but the flag will be off here. So probably this voltage comes from the system which permits to feed the voltage to this indicator. I didn't search where are going the other terminals, so probably this terminal is the reference voltage plus 10 volts, which permits to have their sold here. The other one I don't know. It is maybe a power supply or something else. The other circuit here permits to have two thresholds relative to the feedback potentiometer. So in order to activate the flag, the feedback potentiometer voltage should be between the two limits, which are defined by this voltage here. So probably this is the reference voltage, plus 10 volts. And this one is probably the ground, but I'm not sure. But it doesn't matter, this is not very important. That's the end for the description of the schematics. So now we can perform some tests on this device. It is time to perform some tests on this instrument. I have connected this instrument to an AC power supply using a transformer, which is just on the left here. This transformer is connected to an amplifier, which is just here, and this guy here. This amplifier is connected to a function generator, the small Harmeg instrument here. The input voltage of this transformer is 26 volt AC. The 26 volt AC is also fed to the indicator on the rear connector in order to have the lighting of the scale. The input of the indicator is connected to a DC power supply, which is this one here. The voltage is monitored by this DMM. So first I'm going to turn on the power supply. You can see that the error flag is removed. We set the range to 40 volts. For the moment there is a voltage of 0 volt at the input. So the needle is perfectly centered to 0. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the input voltage power supply. I will decrease the input voltage from 0 down to minus 40 volts. I will start with an increment of 100 millivolts. Okay, so the voltage is 100 millivolts, as you can see on the DMM. So you can see that the scale is linear. It is exactly 100 millivolts for 12.5 feet. From 0 to minus 1.6 volts, there is a linear scale from 0 to 200 feet. At this point, I will change the step. I will increase the voltage with 1 volt step. So the voltage is minus 2 volts here. Minus 3, minus 4. So this thing is linear also up to 1000 feet. It is also the position of the index. So I don't know if you can hear, but you can hear the relay, which is commuting. So the adjustment is also perfect. And this is the third scale. As you can see, the maximum is achieved with minus 40 volts. We can test also the test button here. So this permits to activate the flag. I don't know the effect of this on-off switch. It is not connected to any board, so I think it is just connected to the rear connector. But actually, there is no effect. So this instrument seems working perfectly. I don't understand the reason of the discard of this instrument, because on the description of the symptoms it seems that this indicator indicates a value which is 6 feet above the normal value. At 0 there is a very small deviation here. We have 5 feet for one division here. So here there is a value of, don't know, 1 feet or something like that, and this thing can be anyway adjusted. So I don't understand the problem of this instrument exactly. You can see that this thing responds very fast. The time response is a little bit slower in the other direction. So that's the end of this video. This instrument seems working perfectly. I don't understand the error which was indicated in the list. Anyway, for next video I will give you the choice. So you can choose between this instrument, which is an LCR meter from Hameg. So I can describe it totally because I have the schematics and everything, because I have designed this instrument several years ago. Or this aircraft instrument. So this is a low pressure indicator. There is an analog display and a digital display. So just tell me on the comment which one do you prefer. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.